What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and in this video I would like to talk about the prospects of alt season. We're right at the forefronts of the most spectacular moment in the bull market right now, and I want to show you some charts that are very compelling, I think, that suggest that we are at literally the same point now in this cycle that we were last cycle, right before the big move came. Okay, I'm going to show you guys those charts and more. We're going to talk about where the average altcoin, by the end of this video, hopefully everybody will understand where the average altcoin is going to go by the end of November, by the end of this year, and by the end of the cycle. I think the cycle personally, and I can be wrong, I personally think that the cycle ends sometime in Q2 of 2026. That's my expectation. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But that's my expectation. So that's what we're building off of here. Okay, so hit the like button, subscribe. Let's get into it. Enough talking. Enough of me looking at you with the big screen. Here we are on the others chart. For those of you that don't know what the others chart is, right? You type in others on TradingView. It's the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10. It's quite literally a basket of the top 125 coins excluding the top 10, and it's the index of the altcoin markets effectively. What do I mean by that, right? On a monthly time frame, this chart's down 11.2%. Not every altcoin's down 11.2% this month. Not every altcoin is, some altcoins are down more than this, right? But on average, in the top like 120 coins, you're going to see that kind of price action, probably even in the top 200 coins. We're using this chart to set up a base kind of what our expectations are, right? Clearly, alt season hasn't even happened yet. Clearly, we haven't even had a bull run. If you look at the prior cycles, right? Here's the 2017 to 2018 cycle. Well, really the 2015 to 2018 cycle. Very beginning of 2018. That was alt season. Last cycle here, that was alt season, right? We haven't had anything that resembles this. That is not alt season. No, this is not alt season. No, we haven't even broken out yet, and we are in what I think is the largest consolidation phase that we've seen altcoins have without running at it at an exponential rate, at a blow off kind of euphoric run. We've consolidated longer than any other cycle, and I think with that we're going to see a very voluptuous move coming soon, you guys. I really do believe that by the end of the cycle, from a high to a low, we're going to see the others chart reach a market cap level of $6 trillion or more. But we're going to get into that. We'll get into that, okay? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I just wanted to show you guys again where we are. We're not, alt season has not happened yet, right? Some people are saying alt season did happen. You just missed it. You weren't invested in the right coins. No. Alt season has not happened yet. We are in a consolidation phase. It's clear as day. Anybody worth their salt as far as technical analysis goes, technical analytics, or technicians, what? Technical analysts, there we go, that's the word, analysts. As far as they go, anyone worth their salt can clearly see this as a consolidation phase, of which we're about to break out one way or another, hopefully to the upside. Looking at this chart now, we're going to shift gears, go from the other chart to the totals chart. This is total ES, and I don't actually want total ES, I want total 3 ES, which is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. It's kind of like the others chart. If we're looking at it on the monthly time frame, it's very similar, right? But there are some key differences, right? And this does include XRP, Solana, Dogecoin, BNB, your top cryptos, right? So there is going to be a little bit less growth here as far as percentages go, but a lot less decay as well. But overall, this is your altcoin market as well. And I think that if we compare this chart to the S&P, we're going to find some interesting things, you guys. Because the S&P, I don't know if anybody's aware, not SPX USD, my bad, SPX, the S&P 500. We had a very nice day starting off today, right? We've actually been very explosive. We're at new all-time highs and at a very explosive rate. It's incredible to watch, right? And the crypto markets are just stagnant. We're red. We're not at new all-time highs or anything. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but in the past and really throughout our history as crypto investors and altcoin investors, altcoins and the S&P typically move up together, right? Whenever the S&P is in a consolidation phase, even with higher highs and higher lows, you're still in a consolidation phase, altcoins are chilling. When the S&P is expanding, so are altcoins, so is the altcoin markets. Whenever the S&P is running up here, so are the altcoin markets. Whenever we're chilling in the S&P, the altcoins are chilling as well, right? Same kind of idea here, coming down. They move in tandem together. They're a lot more correlated than people might think. So why is it then that we broke out of our highs for the S&P 500 back in 2023, and we're nowhere near or I guess we're pretty near our highs now, but we were nowhere near them back then, right? We've done this before. We've actually seen these kind of interactions before, and I don't know if you guys have noticed just in the time of me talking, but right here during the COVID crash, This was a low point for both crypto and for the S&P 500 and for the stock market, right? But we had a very, very voluptuous move. I mean, look at the pace at which we grew here. It's very comparable, I would even say, to what we did here. Okay, were altcoins moving up? Sure, they're moving up. Are altcoins moving up now? Sure, they're moving up. But the finale phase, the alt season, the alt markets themselves didn't really kick off until a later date, right? You see here, the S&P kicked off way back here. That's whenever things really got rallying for the S&P, was back here. But altcoins didn't start rallying until sometime later, okay? I think right now, what we're doing here, I don't think we need to see the same thing, right? We don't need to wick down or whatever. It doesn't have to be like this before alt season starts. I'm not looking for an identical kind of reaction. I'm just comparing the fact that we had a very voluptuous reaction here, saw new all-time highs. Altcoins are not near their all-time highs yet, right? They're not even at new all-time highs. Here, and hold on, guys, hold on. Here, we also have just seen this growth as well at a very unprecedented rate. And I would like to equate this area in price to this area in price as well. I think we are literally right here at this point, at the same point we were right before the explosive move came in, before we saw literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months of growth. Not consecutively, there was a month that was red here, and there was some times we had some volatility, but 7 months of growth, effectively over half a year's worth of growth. And from the current price, if we were to grow for like 6 months or more, that put us in April or May, Q2 of 2026. That's what I think we're going to see. And again, I would just think, looking at this, comparing these two charts together, let's zoom in a little bit more for anybody who needs some seeing assistance. I would genuinely compare this point in time here exactly to where we are now. Okay, except here you were further away from your high. Here you had a smaller consolidation phase. Okay, I'm going to delete this now. I don't think we need it. Oh, that's that's not what I meant to delete. I'm going to delete this now. Again, here we were much further away from our all-time highs. Here we had a smaller consolidation phase. Here we're right about at our all-time highs. And that doesn't mean that we're more mature in this move. That just means the move hasn't even started yet, and we're right there at all-time highs. We're here. Most of the move happened retracing our all-time highs, right? Most of this move actually happened below our all-time highs. Here, most of the move that's going to happen is going to be in price discovery. So if anything, it's a more bullish thing. On top of that, we've actually got a larger phase of consolidation, larger than anything you've ever seen in crypto's history as far as altcoins are concerned, right? This has been the longest lull for altcoins without an alt season that we've ever seen. That, in combination with being right on the precipice of breaking out to new all-time highs, and the S&P made its big move up already, similar to what we saw back here when we were at this exact same point before we blew up. I just think that we're on the precipice of seeing something great happen here. I really wouldn't be surprised if from a high to a low, we went all the way up to our 2272 area, right here at about $10 trillion, as crazy as that sounds. From here to there, and likely you go just above. Typically with the 2272, you do go just above. So something like this of a move just above the 2272. And you might be thinking, and the way that I have that drawn, that's January of 2026. It'll probably be more like April, May, right? 2026. That's my expectation. You might be looking at this and thinking, that's too much. That's too fast. It's too much of a movement too fast. But if we put this directly in line with what we saw last cycle, right here at the base, right whenever things kicked off, we basically made that exact same move. We basically look at how I mean that's identical. It's uncanny, right? Off by a month, but basically at the same highs here. This then what we're calling for is technically slower than what we saw last cycle. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a faster movement. Maybe we don't top off in May. Maybe it's April. I don't know. A month after Bitcoin tops off. That's typically what altcoins do. But it's uncanny how identical this is, and I would expect that we see some overall growth that represents that, right? And again, the idea here being we go to the 2272. I also think Bitcoin's going to go to its 2272. Therefore, I think the other chart is going to go to its 2272. We're going to shift gears again, go back to the other chart, because I think this chart better represents the average expectations, let's say, for what the average altcoin is going to do as far as growth goes. You know what I mean? Like this coin here, or this chart here, it includes Solana and BNB and Dogecoin and some other high altcoins as far as market cap goes. We look at this, from a low to a high. Let's just take the low to the high. That was an overall 45x, okay? But if we take the others chart from this low to the high, that was an overall 86x. You see the difference, right? So I feel like, and that probably better represents what the average altcoin did last cycle, right? Not just the blue chips. Okay, it's a big, big difference. So we're going to use this chart And looking at this now, the purpose of this part of the video is to project where we're going to be going into the end of the year, going into November, right? We're quite literally on the precipice, I think, of breaking out to new all-time highs. We get above this high, we're going to come for this high. We take out this high, it's over, man. We're going to new all-time highs. We're literally 2 steps away from seeing exploration, price exploration across the board for the crypto markets. Okay, high to low here. We take this into consideration. I fully expect that we will be above this level here, $492 billion, by the end of November. I really do think that over the coming weeks we're going to kick things off here. So that would imply then that if by the end of November we're above here, our next target area is about 838 billion, about 840 billion, to about 1.65 trillion dollars for the ecosystem as a whole, the top 125 coins, excluding the top 10. I would then expect that the average altcoin, no matter what you're holding, the average altcoin between now and the end of November sees something on the lines of a 3x to potentially a 4x, right? A little bit over a 4x. The 1414 typically, just like the 2272, you go just above it. You don't stop right at it. You don't do this. You do something more like this where you stop just above it. So that's why I'm drawing this percentage just above that line there. But I think by the end of November, we could expect to see a 3x to a 4.3x across the board. Okay. By the end of the year, by the end of December, I would expect we see a 4x at a minimum to potentially a 10x at a maximum across the board. Something that would take us as high as 2.8 trillion. Okay. Because again, by the end of November, I would think that at a maximum, we're probably here. Therefore, by the beginning of December, we might be here, by the end of December, we'd probably be here at a minimum, right? What if we're here by the end of November? By the end of December, we should at least be here. But I really think that we'll be higher. We'll probably be at this golden ratio or higher by the end of December, which means the average altcoin between now and the end of the year, by my expectations, not just by the way that you should be conservative. I suppose the minimum would be about a 4x. But by my expectations, I would think that by the end of the year, the average altcoin sees something on the lines of a 6x. Remember, we're moving at this pace, or not this pace. We're moving at this pace now for what I think will be the remainder of the cycle. We've got 6 to 7 months of brilliance coming in here, right? So we'll probably see a 6x or more by the end of the year. 6x at a minimum, let's say a 13x at a maximum for the average altcoin. Now, there's going to be plenty of altcoins in this time that don't pull a 6x. They pull something less. There's going to be plenty of altcoins in this time that see more than 13 or 14x, okay? Those are the winners and those are the losers, depending on how far out they fall. But I would expect at least a bare minimum of a 6x by the end of the year and a bare minimum of a 3x by the end of November, okay? Going into the end of the cycle, again, the 2272 comes up, and typically, again, we go just above that. What's just above 5.9 trillion? There's 6 trillion, there's 7 trillion, $10 trillion, but I doubt we get up that high. We're probably going to see something around $7 trillion would be my guess, something like that. From the current price, that would mean the average altcoin is expected to grow, at least by my standards, something on the lines of about a 25 to a 26x. Okay, with the drop that we've had this month, the amount of growth potential here is phenomenal. And what's phenomenal, a 24, I've had 24x's this cycle. I've had 60x's, 40x's this cycle with various projects that we've invested in. More than that even, right? We've seen a 20x in 2 weeks, let alone by the end of the cycle. It's not small. It's exhilarating every time it happens, but it's not the most crypto has to offer, right? I'm not excited personally looking at this, seeing that the average altcoin has a 25x expectation by the end of the cycle. That's not what gets me excited. What gets me excited is the thought that there are going to be coins that exceed this. In the top 100, in the top 200, in the top 500, there will be coins that exceed this. And if you're paying attention, there's no reason why you couldn't establish a 40x or more. Why you couldn't double, right? Getting an average coin, that's easy. Just take a guess, take some shots in the dark, land on a random crypto in the top 500, you're probably going to get that, right? The average person can expect, I think, a 27x return from here. And what's nice about that is, you're not even buying the low. We're not even talking about buying the low. We're talking about buying right here. You might not sell the absolute high, but if you sell around this area, you can snag some pretty decent gains, right? And we're talking about current prices, not even just like from a low to a high. We're talking about the current prices, so that's nice. But what's nicer is that if you're paying attention to coins that have already been outperforming other coins this cycle, they've been outperforming coins since April, since June, since dealing with this crash on October 10th. Whatever coins have been outperforming the market on average at large will likely continue to outperform the markets. So across the board, you can expect a 25, 26x, whatever. But if you're looking in the right places, I think you could double that, triple that. You could see 100x or more on various different coins. So again, just to surmise this real quick, with this chart, you know, the S&P. Let's go back. We have to go way back. Wow, it's so much. With the S&P, basically doing the same thing that it did last cycle. Okay, and then we consolidated a little bit, and then we had our massive run. Doing the same thing, consolidate a little bit. We've been consolidating for a while, actually, and then we have a massive run. Really, we've been consolidating a long time. We're right here, I think. This cycle right now is right here, okay? Right here. Some might argue, well, it's comparable to the COVID crash. It's comparable as far as the monthly candle goes, yes, but I would compare the timing of it and just where we are here. I would more compare this in April to the COVID crash right here, in accordance to what we're seeing here in response to the stock market. This, what we're doing right now, is actually more appropriately matched, I think, to something around here, like October. We're literally look at this. We're in October of 2025, and that is quite literally October of 2020. Like timing and everything, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. Beyond that, the expectation is that by the end of November, we see something on the lines of a 3x to a 6x for the average altcoin. By the end of the year, we see something on the lines of a 6x to a 13x for the average altcoin. And by the end of the cycle, we'll see something on the lines of about a 20 to 27x for the average altcoin as well. Crazy growth in a very short amount of time, what is likely going to take about a half year, give or take a month. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. I hope you all appreciate this video. Alt season's coming. We're right at the forefront, and I think it kicks off in November. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.